We are recording. We are good to go. How are you doing?
A lot of hate this week, but we good.
Okay, a lot of hate. You're still. I'm assuming you're still recovering from your sickness.
Yeah, I had COVID.
Okay. How's COVID?
A
COVID.
week long of being tired. I
Mm-hmm.
literally told you this before, but I'll just
Mm-hmm.
say it again. Sorry.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
So just very tired. You had it before, right? So
I
like,
I did.
just give me like, were you also tired, sick in your stomach, headache,
Uh,
and just warm a lot?
so this is the thing is that I had early COVID. So I had like no taste, no smell kind of COVID.
Okay.
Shortness of breath I did not have. And I think at the time I was working at the post office, so I was doing a lot of like heavy lifting and shit like that. So I wasn't really having any like breathing troubles.
Mm.
My mom had it, but she didn't have any breathing troubles as well. So far I don't know whether or not I've ever had it again because I don't really get myself like checked that often, but like my mom does because she has to go see my grandma at a nursing home.
Yeah.
So she
Oh
has
shit. Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she has to check herself regularly. Um, so she hasn't had it again. No, that's a lie. She had it one other time, but nothing too crazy. So far I don't know what the other symptoms are for this new version of COVID because all I know is that we're like on what like version 2.0, 3.0 at this
Oh
point.
yeah. I have no idea. All I know is the doctor had said
Mhm.
Sorry, I heard something.
No, sorry.
You're good. The doctor had said this COVID currently where I live is going around to everybody. He said everyone's just getting it right now, and I
Mm.
was like, that doesn't make me feel better. But thanks, dude.
It makes me feel sad.
Well, I don't know. I just like because then I got it, then my mom got it, then my brothers came down. Now my brother has it. My other brother doesn't have it.
Mhm.
But it's just like it sucks, man. Because like it doesn't matter if you get it and you live in a house with people, they're getting it, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't want to fucking give it to my family. Fuck that shit. Like, they
Yeah.
don't need this fucking, like, especially because, like, it's, again, like, it kind of just has you in a chokehold for a week, is what it feels like. So, um,
Yeah, no, I feel the exact same way because, like, at the job I'm at currently, I'm going to like different houses and shit, and like, it really depends on the person that I'm working for usually. Because, if like the client, like, there was one client that I worked for that like required everybody to wear a mask, and
okay.
everyone did, and at my job, all my coworkers, but like all the rest of my coworkers are like they're cautious, but they're not like crazy cautious about it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think where we're at now, because we have, um, I'm taking Paxlovid,
Mhm.
the, like, medicine, and it, no joke, when I took it, the day I took it, the first pill, I completely felt like I was okay. It's
Sorry.
insane. I don't know like how that shit works. I don't know if I mentally just thought I was okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how what happened, but I took the pill and I immediately was like, "Whoa, I feel 10 times better."
Okay. Yeah, I mean that
Um
works.
well, that's what I was going to say. Well, or sorry. What I was going to say was uh so like I kind of feel like at this point maybe we don't have to be so cautious. Maybe it's kind of just flu like at this point.
Hmm.
Um did I tell you that I passed out or no?
No, I don't think you told me about that.
All right. So this is why like my brothers came down. Um so I felt really bad one night. I think this was Thursday night. Took the test. My mom had looked at it and was like, "Oh, the lines look kind of like faded."
Hmm.
And what I didn't know and the doctor told me later was even if the lines are faded on the test, it doesn't matter. You have COVID. So I
Regardless,
was
okay.
so like in my head I thought I had COVID. My mom was like, "No, you're not sick." And I was like, "Okay, but I feel horrible, you know?"
Hmm.
So I was like, "Whatever, I'll go to sleep." Like that's usually how I deal with sicknesses. It's like I'll just sleep, then I'll
Hmm.
drink some water, do whatever. But the problem is like that sounds really bad. I hadn't drank water in like maybe 3 days. Um,
What?
I'm really bad at like
Hydrating
maybe
yourself?
I'll drink like soda or I'll drink
Oh,
tea,
you fool.
and
Oh,
like that
tea.
does
Okay,
have some water in it, but
but
it
don't
doesn't have
drink.
enough water.
Yeah, exactly. Don't drink
Right.
fucking soda.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is.
I drank it already. I'm drinking it as
So
we're talking.
I'm actually drinking some.
Jesus.
but, but so again, what the doctor told me later, and I didn't know at the time, is when you're sick, especially with COVID, your body is burning. So it's just burning everything. So it's like I want water, but I want 10 times the amount of water, not the
Mm,
regular amount. So I'm dehydrated and I didn't know. So I've probably been dehydrated for at least like a day at this point.
Jesus.
And then of course like the sickness is making it worse. I'm overheating. And I got up in the morning and I noticed I was really hungry and I was like, oh shit, like I can't believe I'm hungry. I didn't feel hungry for like about a day now or whatever.
Mm.
So I hop in the kitchen, I start making something. I had the heater on, so it's 70 in the house. And then I started cooking, which it's 400 degrees on the stove, I think. I'm not sure how hot it gets on the stove top. Maybe
Uh,
not 400, maybe like 150 or something.
mm.
And I'm cooking hamburgers, so there's grease flying at me too, which also feels just warm. So so I'm cooking and I'm like, oh my god, my vision is going. So I was like, I have to get out of the kitchen. I got to go cool down. Like
Yeah.
I no joke just slam my fist into the fucking thermostat to turn it off because I was like, fuck you, like it's so hot. And as I'm walking to the other room, my vision just out and I was like, I can't see. So I started falling and my brain just like it's one of those things like where you pass out, your brain just out. It's gone, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And the reason I know like how this works is because I used to pass out when I was really, really young a lot.
Hmm.
And I can hear everything. I can't see and I can't react because my body won't move. So I slammed into this table, fell on the ground, and I just hear like my mom yelling for me. And I was just like, I can hear her, and I'm just like in my head laughing, and I'm like, I can't. What do you want me to do? I can't do anything. And then again, still not seeing. I somehow managed to get myself up and follow her. Like the sound of her voice is like she's trying to like help me guide me. I guess she's probably grabbing me. I just didn't notice.
Mm.
And then we get into another room and onto the fucking ground again. I was just fell on my back, and she said, "Stay on the fucking ground." I'm calling the ambulance, and the ambulance came, and they were just like, "So what's going on?" You know, whatever. All the
What's
like.
going on as you're passed out on the ground?
Well, I actually at this point I had gotten up,
Okay.
regained consciousness, and like done everything. Um,
I thought the ambulance just walked in and they saw you on the ground. They're like, "So what's happening?"
Well, no, like it's funny
Yeah.
because like the guys get there and they're like, they see me sitting down and like looking at them and talking, and they're like, they're probably like, "What's this fucking Jamoke doing?" You know, like,
Mm.
come on, man. So from there, like, I just go and everything, and one of the funnier parts actually that I got out of this was the guy taking me, the EMT in the back that was with me. He was like, "Your first time having COVID?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, I've had it twice." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Mm.
And then he was like, "So you have your shot, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't get those. I don't like them. I don't think they're worth it." And I was like, "You're a piece of shit, bro." Like,
It
don't get me wrong. Like,
it's
whatever.
it's funny you mention that because I have a friend of mine that I work with sometimes that his dad's actually a doctor,
Yeah.
and his dad is one of those he's one of those people that thinks that the whole COVID shot thing is like a myth.
Yeah.
And it is one of these wild things to hear of like an actual medical like person being like,
Hmm.
no, that shit doesn't work.
Yep.
It's weird. It was very weird. And I was talking to him about it because I don't think he got his shots. Because he was like, oh yeah, he's like, because my dad didn't like agree. I was like, I got my fucking shots because I live at home with my mom and my mom goes to see my grandma. Like, I'm not
Yep.
risking that. You know, I'm not going to be a dick about that.
Most people that have like older parents,
Yeah.
grandparents, anybody in their family that's older, usually had gotten the shot.
Mhm.
There is a lot of people. I know a handful of people that refuse to get it, and then like it kind of like when I had that like issue, or when people had that issue with the shot, it kind of tested me a little bit with like whether or not I wanted to talk to those people, just because like it's you get the flu shot every year, man. You
Mm.
get the, you've had your tetanus shot. There's so many shots you've had in your life,
Mhm.
and now you're thinking this is the one that's gonna do you in, bro. Like, no, don't be that person,
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember, I think when I was starting high school, I think there were like shot requirements that I needed, and
Same.
I got all of them. But my mom's a very cautious person. So she was on that end of like, you got to get your shots,
Damn,
basically.
there's literally life-threatening illnesses that you should not be going into around other kids for like that, that type of
Yeah,
shit, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's like little simple ones, like if you never had chickenpox, you might get chickenpox, bitch. Like,
Yeah,
some crazy ass shit.
that's the thing. I realize is that like I don't think I've ever had chickenpox, but I keep hearing that like at an adult age you can get chickenpox, or
Yep.
chickenpox can be like life threatening at an older state.
Think I'm not sure if I'm right about this, and I'm not gonna go Google this shit. I think chickenpox turns into shingles or something. I'm
Mm,
not sure. I can't remember what it is, but there's like an adult thing that it turns into if you haven't had it before. And
yeah,
it's I don't know if it's life threatening, but it's like painful.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely very painful.
Hmm. So yeah, you passed out, and what did the doctors say?
Oh, nothing. They were just like, you're dehydrated, asshole. Like, why do you not drink water?
Hey, dickhead, drink
um,
some water.
they were like, we don't know what happened. They gave me an MRI, a CT. They did all this stuff.
Mhm.
And they were like, nothing's broken, nothing's like bad. They were like, but we need to like test your urine. And obviously, like, I peed into the cup, and it came out brown. I know it sounds gross.
Yeah, that's incredibly dehydrated.
I know. That's why I passed out, because I'm dumb.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So the
like,
doctor was just like, you're not drinking water, right? And then I told him, yeah. So he was just like, do it.
yeah. No, because there was a point in that's how I got kidney stones, was because like my diet during that time was incredibly poor.
Yeah.
So like my pee was coming out like almost like brownish. And like when the kidney stones happened, I think I went to go get a checkup from a doctor because like I mentioned to my mom, like, yeah, I'm like pissing blood and it hurts. And yeah, I went to go get checked out by a doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah,
Blood.
yeah, go ahead.
No, you said blood. I'm sorry.
Oh, I think you said I'm sorry. Then you had to go do something.
Oh,
Uh,
no. That's just, I feel bad. That sucks, man.
yeah, no, because like it wasn't stones, it was like pebbles. So it's like, luckily I didn't have like a fully developed stone, but like the doctor was like, yo, you need to actually drink more water because like that shit, like if it builds up, it's gonna hurt a lot more than what you just had. And I was
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah. So I
Did you
tried.
have to pee into like a siphon thing?
No, luckily,
I
no, yeah.
did.
I would not doubt it. Uh, no, because like even afterwards, like when I started working at the post office, like I had to drink water because those fucking trucks are like death traps. Because they insulate all the heat, so I had to drink water constantly, keep the windows down, like make sure that like I'm ventilated coolly, because it's yeah, that shit sucked.
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't think I've ever had a situation where I was that dehydrated that I was going to pass out.
This happened when I was a kid in elementary. Yeah, elementary school. It was an elementary school I was in for like 2 years, I think.
Mm,
And we lived in Maine, and Maine's very cold, so
mm.
you had to wear snowsuits. I don't know if you've ever worn one of those.
I don't think I have.
It's toe to head, or like really toe to neck is like the entirety of your snowsuit,
Mhm.
and it only comes off by zipping all the way down to like your crotch, and you have to like pull your leg. It's like wearing a onesie. It's insane.
Mhm.
Um, I just remember like wearing it and thinking like, so the problem is like I wouldn't take it off because I uh didn't want to have to get basically undressed in front of people.
Mhm.
That's how it felt to me when I was a kid. So I was just like, I'm not doing that. So basically, I would overheat because I'm so hot.
Mhm.
And I went to my teacher, and I remember this like super vividly. And like, I went to my teacher in the in the lunchroom. And the lunchrooms. I don't know if you had these, but we had like these plastic seats that were attached to the table,
Yeah.
and they were round, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I look at my teacher and I'm like, I don't feel good. And she's like, huh? And she can see my eyes like just go glaze. And I fucking lean to the left. She goes to catch me and misses. And my head fucking dinks the side of that fucking chair, bro.
Oh.
And
Ah.
when my mom came, the teacher was like, I'm so sorry. I tried to catch him. He hit the fucking chair. Like, and my mom was just like, it's cool. Like,
It's all right.
I mean, it is what, like, you tried, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just remember waking up and I was like, yo, that shit fucking sucks.
Ow, why does my head hurt?
Dude, it's so scary though. Like when you pass out, you're like losing your vision is the
Mm.
scariest part because you're just like you don't know what happened, you don't know where you are, blah blah.
I don't know.
Uh,
There was a point like where like I wouldn't say I was losing vision, but like I would get like vertigo for some reason.
yep.
Like I would be like staring out and like I like for example, I would be driving and like all of a sudden everything would start to like turn. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening? I don't know whether or not that was like due to poor diet. Possibly. It possibly due to poor diet. But like
It could be.
but after that, it hasn't happened since.
It could also be like a certain type of focus thing,
Yeah. Knock on wood. It hasn't happened like in a while. Yeah. No, I get you. I get you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've been sick. I've been sick. I'm still kind of recovering. Like if you can't hear it, I'm a little congested. But I'm not as bad as before where I was like fucking runny nose nonstop and like a really bad sore throat. But now it's mostly just like congestion that I just have to blow out and like hack out. Just
I did
phlegm.
laugh a little bit when I messaged you and I was like, "Hey man, I'm sick. I'm not gonna be around for this." And you were like, "Oh yeah,
Me too. Me too, bro. No, because like my throat was that sore where I was just like, I don't want to talk. Like I do
Nah, I
not want
get
to.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say a single thing. And I was working at the time too, so like I told my coworkers, I'm like, I'm sick, so just keep away from me. They're like, okay. So I kept my distance from them for like a good while.
So they kept their face directly on my mouth, and now everyone's sick.
And I breathed directly onto them. Yeah, no, like it was just that bad because like I remember I had to go at night. Well, I went to go see my cousin to watch a little bit of The Last of Us, and like my nose was just pouring and just pouring. Like I would have to constantly just get up, go get like a napkin or like a paper towel or something, or I even had to bring in like a roll of toilet paper because I don't have any Kleenex in my house. Because the only thing that's soft is that, and I fucked up so much because I was using paper towels and you know how like paper towels are more coarse, they're a little bit more rougher.
Mm.
So my nose like around the edges was like basically it was like dry and like it started to like it was basically peeling. So it's like so like I fucked up on that part. But
Dude, I hate not having tissue, like especially with the lotion tissues.
no, because like
I hate having to use the what do you paper towels? Yeah.
paper towels, but like toilet paper was like the next softest thing besides that. So
That's true.
but yeah, just hacking up some phlegm for the meantime because that was the whole issue, was me sniffling and like getting it in the back of my throat and just hacking it out. So I'm still recovering from that.
Yeah.
But besides me, what else did you do with your time of being sick?
Man, I mean during the sickness it's just sleep. But like more recently, the Destiny 2 deal. Oh no, that did happen kind of while I was sick. The Destiny 2 DLC came out.
Lightfall.
Yeah, Lightfall. Sorry. The new expansion, and me and my team played through the campaign. I think I got sick in the middle of it, or I was sick already. We got sick in the middle of it because it came out, I think, the week of ish. I don't know. Anyways, was sick in the middle of it. Ended up just sleeping all the time. To be fair, like if Lightfall was more interesting, I think I would have put more time into it, even though I was sick.
So okay, so I've been seeing this. I've been seeing that Lightfall has been very mixed what are your opinions on the current thing as to like
Um,
what are your current feelings on it right now?
uh, the story's lacking.
Hmm.
Um, the difficulty is uh trying to think of the word. I want to say like miscommunicated. It's dis-
Misrepresented,
disproportionately
represented. Excuse me. Hmm.
disproportionately mixed in a certain way that it shouldn't be. So when I say that, um, a raid is uh, the highest difficult thing you can do. The thing with the highest difficulty that you can do, as far as PVE.
Mm.
And PvP would be something like Trials, which is their competitive playlist. Or there is now a competitive playlist as well that you can go like bronze, silver, gold, whatever.
Mm.
So for PvE, the problem with that is what we found out when the raid came out recently is the raid is easier than going and doing a Nightfall currently, which I don't know if you know what a Nightfall is versus a raid, but a
No.
Nightfall is something you do weekly, and a raid is something you do again weekly, but like when the new one comes out, that is like the pinnacle of hard, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Like
and then after,
usually
go ahead.
those require teams, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but that's what I'm saying is when we went into the raid for the beginning, which is like the first day it comes out, it's supposed to be extra hard.
Mm.
They cap it at a certain level, and you're only allowed to like be at that level through the entirety of the raid. So like let's say you're level 1, the raid is supposed to start at level 2, then the next part of it is level 3 because there's like 6 encounters or whatever.
Mm.
So first part's level 2 and you're level 1. You're already at a disadvantage. Then it's supposed to be 3, 4, 6, and that's like how the scaling goes. And you're supposed to get significantly harder, and you stay at that level. And we literally like it was hard to like understand what to do kind of in the beginning, but like once you get mechanics down, that was easy. And what I mean by like the difficulty was like the enemies were very easy to kill versus when I would go or when we would go into a Nightfall, the enemies are ridiculously way harder to kill, and that's like really just horrible um distribution of like where different power levels should be or where difficulty should be. Because
Mm.
obviously your raid should be harder than your Nightfalls until the Grandmaster Nightfall come out, because that's the next harder thing later. But
Mm.
again, like it's just some Destiny stuff that's like really dumb as far as like difficulty. But I think the biggest problem with Lightfall is um the story. It really was boring. The new main boss is Callus again, which has been the boss for like the entirety of Destiny 2, which is fucking dumb. And he finally died, which is like whatever. Uh, but it's just one of those things like I don't want to keep seeing the same guy every time. I want a new person to fight. So now that he's dead, hopefully that's where we're gonna go, is go fight a new person.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people. I don't know. There's a section of Twitter that I keep seeing say like everyone doesn't like the game because of this guy named Nimbus, who is their I think non-binary character is what they said. I could be wrong, but they really seemed like they wanted to show off that this person was non-binary through the way that they talk and the way that they dress.
Mm.
Um, they wear heels.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's like considered like a corset, but it's like a really tight thing on their waist.
Hmm.
Um, and they have like huge muscles. So
Hmm.
again, and then like their voice is like robotic-y and human-y all in one with like high and low pitches. Again, like specifically to be like you're not supposed to know what they are, right? Or or what they're deciding to be, I guess is what again, like I
Hmm.
don't know how to like just how to like define non-binary or whatever.
Mm.
Um, but you'll see a lot of Twitter saying, well, the reason you hate Lightfall is because you don't like this guy, and
That makes you a transphobe, basically.
I would assume, yeah, or whatever, like
Mhm.
a non-binary phobe or whatever the suggested phobe is in
Mhm.
that the LGBT basically phobe. Um,
Hmm.
so, anyways, I don't think a lot of people don't like him for the reasons that the people are saying like that. Uh, I really don't like the character because uh the voice is super annoying, which has nothing to do with the low and high pitch thing. It's
Mhm.
just like it has a robotic-y thing to it. So it's like and
Mm.
in the middle of them talking, and I'm like, oh, that's kind
Weird.
of fucking annoying, but
Mm.
whatever. And their lines are just very like bland. So it's not even the character itself or the voice actor
It's just the audio
or
design.
no, it's the person that wrote the fucking lines.
Oh, the writing is bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the writing also like not just for the character is bad, for the fucking game is bad.
Mm.
Like it doesn't stop at the character, you know.
It's everything else.
Yeah. And then on
Okay.
top of that, this is something I've always had a problem with Destiny, which is not only do you not get your fucking story all in the fucking game cinematics slash them talking throughout the game,
Mm.
you have to go read some of that motherfucker inside of like online shit. And I'm like, I don't want to read normally, dude.
Yeah, so funny you mentioned the whole Destiny thing because I think I mentioned to you that like because you sent me that thing about the JoJo thing, so I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. JoJo's in Destiny, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me try out Destiny. So I started playing a little bit of Destiny 2. I didn't get that far. I only did like the intro sequence for the Cosmodrome.
Okay.
Um, did they change that?
Yes. Wait, no. Did they?
Where you have a guy that you interact with and you're like, "Hey, you're my mission guy?"
Oh yeah, and he's like, break these rocks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not
That's
crazy.
horrible. I hate it.
Okay, so I'm not
A lot,
crazy
a lot of people actually hate it because they're like, what am I doing here?
because it feels very live servicey where you go to that guy and he's like, "Oh, here are your random tasks that you can do." And it's like, "Oh, okay." But I mean, I kind of just pushed on ahead. Um so yeah, I was playing and I'm like, yeah, the gunplay still feels pretty all right. You know, this is coming from somebody that hasn't played this game in years. So it's like, you know, the gunplay is still pretty all right. Like the powers and the abilities are pretty like flashy and cool. It's just like a lot of the menu system stuff feels so over encumbered where like
Mm.
it's hard to like discern what I'm assigning to what, and it just felt a little overwhelming, or I was just like, I don't feel like this is necessarily for me. um but the other thing that was like a little I would say it kind of turned me off because of the fact that like a lot of the credits stuff is like you gotta pay for it, because like when I went to like the main hub world, what is it called, the
Tower.
the tower, yeah. I was looking for that JoJo emote specifically, and it's like, oh, you need like, what is it, 500 silver for it?
500 or 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, is there any way to get silver like playing the game? I'm not sure. Is there?
No.
Okay, so then,
There's technically a way you could get that emote, but it would be like 6 months to a year from now.
oh Jesus. So I'm like, I don't feel like spending money on this game that I'm probably not gonna play ever again. So
Yeah.
that was pretty much my stopping point. Where just like I'm not like I came to like a realization. I'm like, I'm not gonna play this game like anytime soon. And even then, like the game tries to give you like more tutorial stuff of like, oh, here's not a raid, but what is it? Like you need like a group of like 3 people to do it. It's like
Strike.
yeah, it's basically like a strike to like go after like the wizard thing. That
Sure. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. So there was that was happening, and I'm like,
Did you do it?
no.
Okay. I was gonna ask if she screamed because if she did, then it's definitely that strike.
Uh I didn't do it because I was like, I don't want to play with randos, and like I don't want to play with anybody actually, because I realize that how secluded I am when it comes to playing video games. Because I'm like, I like just single player experiences, but
Yeah.
Destiny is not one of those. And I think it's because of the fact that like I was enjoying it a little bit because of me playing Halo, and obviously this is Bungie. Um,
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
but I just like the whole live service shit and like the required multiplayer is just like something that kills it for me.
I do wish there was a way to shut off having to play with other people in strikes and stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I wouldn't mind just running that shit by myself. 'Cause it's really not that hard, honestly. Like the content is not that hard to run a strike by yourself.
Yeah.
Things like Nightfalls and GMs, you kind of need more people. But again, even then, like sometimes there's a way to do on the harder difficulties to actually play by yourself because you
Mhm.
have to like have a pre-made team to go in. Um, but again, like that shit's hard. So
So I remember it's funny you mentioned that like the whole thing of like looking up lore shit online for that specific stuff. And I thought Destiny was like the only like thing that would do something like that. And no, Halo's like that as well. Where there's like little weird lore secrets that you got to find through like intel or like little collectibles and things like that. But even then, I remember going online and like there was like stuff from like just like yeah, just stuff that you wouldn't know about like the Halo lore unless you either read some of the books or looked up or found like a super secret like intel file, like some shit like that, because I think there's something like that in Halo Reach. It's just weird shit like that where like Bungie like to do like little secrets and stuff like that, but to a detriment, I feel like, where it's like I would like to know a little bit more about Halo's world, but you do this weird obscure shit for no reason, and it kind of like, I want to say ruins my experience, but it kind of just deflates it a little bit.
yeah.
So yeah, Destiny, I like it the first time seeing that for Destiny was just like, because I didn't have any context of Halo back then. When I saw that whole thing of like the grimoire is like all online, it's just like, oh, that's kind of dumb. It's still dumb, but anyways, you're saying Halo.
I
Okay.
wasn't saying anything.
I know. Halo Destiny.
New expansions mid,
Okay.
if I could say that, like the kids are saying nowadays.
Yeah, I've been seeing that like it's been very like mixed for a lot of people, which is
IGN gave it a 5 out of 10, and I would
damn.
hard agree, if not say 3 out of 10.
Mm, yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
like
there's a
is
bunch of stuff I could like just like rattle on about, but overall, I would just say probably don't buy this, honestly.
okay, but is there anything like that was worth like noteworthy from this expansion? Because like some people were like praising like the system mechanics, like some of the changes, like the whip thing.
Mm-mm.
Not even that saved it.
No, that shit. First of all, nothing saved this from being bad.
From
Um,
being mid.
yeah. Uh,
Excuse me. Sorry.
they have a grapple now,
Hmm.
which basically can make you kind of Spider-Man around. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that so much. But the
Hmm.
problem is you can't constantly go swing, swing, swing. It's swing, cooldown for 30 seconds or 40 seconds.
Mm,
Swing, cooldown again, you know? So
okay.
there is a way to make it go way shorter, but like the average person that just wants to pop in, kind of like what you were saying, like I joined, I can't do this right away, or I can't do, you know,
Yeah.
um, the person that has an hour doesn't want to fucking not be able to swing, bro, and
Hmm.
like I don't know, whatever. It is like a time intensive game, and like that's what they want it to be, and that's what it is. So, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting
Okay.
bored of Destiny.
So this is something that hasn't really called you back, essentially.
No.
Okay. Fair enough. Anything else you have played or touched around, or yeah, have you just been sick in Destiny?
I've been touching around, brother.
Oh.
Um,
Mhm.
uh, game wise, I tried Battlefield 2042. I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
called.
that was PS Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Mm,
Which like no surprise, it's already been rated bad and poorly, and I think
yeah.
like there's a constant or concurrent playing
Yeah, I think they
number of like 500 people or something like that.
yeah, I think they stopped support for that game. As
Huh?
far as I know, I think they stopped the support for that game. Like, there's
Oh,
no like
probably.
no major updates or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it shows. It seems like a very like hey, we put, 100 hours into making it and that's it.
yeah,
Um with that said, I'll probably play more of it to check it. Well, cuz like my friends we all like, shooters, so
yeah,
we'll try
yeah,
it out and see if we can find fun for it. Uh just by like, maybe there's some people on there to just fuck around with or whatever.
yeah.
And then I didn't touch this yet, but I'm getting excited for Diablo 4.
Oh yeah. When is that code coming out
Um,
for the beta?
well, I don't know if the code's gonna come out. What do you mean by that?
Because you get the code when you pre-order the game, right?
I don't think you get a code. I think you just play it.
What? I thought it was like a early
So
access
if you
code.
pre-order it, I believe it just gives you the access by having it.
Because I pre-ordered it on Amazon, and it says it's supposed to come with it, but I haven't seen it thus far.
Might want to reread it. I'll look on Amazon tonight
Yeah,
and see
because
if I see something.
I don't want to go to KFC and order a
A double
double
down
down.
chicken sandwich. I'm gonna be real, bro. I don't give a fuck about the code. I kind of just want the sandwich. I love
That's just
the double down chickie is so good, bro.
I've never had it because it just looks crazy to me. I
Oh,
mean,
it's good.
yeah, because it's
It's actually
fried
good.
chicken, cheese, and bacon.
Yeah, and your point is,
Okay, fair enough.
it's delicious. I've dehydrated myself before. I will do it again.
I'll eat all the double downs.
um,
Mm,
yeah. If you pre-order it, you're supposed to just auto be able to play it. You pre-ordered it from
Amazon.
Amazon, which means you do need a code because
Yeah.
you're physically getting it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm physically getting
Okay,
it.
okay. For PlayStation?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We should play together, dude. Let me know.
All
I
right.
know you don't
Yeah.
like other people, but
I
I
hate
like
other
you.
people.
But I like you, and I like
Oh,
Diablo.
okay.
You look so sad.
I want to play with other people. It sucks.
Stop! You're trying to make me play again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I've been talking to my brother. We've been losing a lot of league lately. Which whatever.
Yeah, it's
And
League.
I've been complaining about Destiny to him, and we're just both like, it's time for a new game, and it's very good timing for Diablo to be here.
Yeah.
Especially because like that was our childhood game, so hopefully it reignites some passion and we feel good about it. With that said, if
yeah.
it's not good, but I've said it before. At this point, I'll just be done with Blizzard, bro.
All right, fair enough. I'm surprised you didn't try out the other Diablo game, Minecraft Dungeons, which is also free on PS Plus.
I had a friend actually say, "Oh, this looks like Diablo," and I'm like, "I'll fucking smash it, fucking."
I mean, it is a dungeon crawler.
I know it is. It doesn't mean I want to play it.
You know what? I'll play it, and then when we do the podcast again, I'll let you know how it is.
Shocking. Sean wants to play bad game.
That's my life.
That's my life.
All I want to do is just play bad games.
A little bit of RE4.
The gameplay
beta from somebody, and oh, it looks cool, man. I need to try it.
I'll talk about that in my week, but go ahead.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it's basically just I'm excited for Diablo, man.
Okay. All right.
No other games for me. Oh,
you watch anything?
Without you saying anything about the story, how far did you get into Pedro Pascal Zombieland?
Episode 8.
I think you're further than me. I think I made it to 7. I think I need to watch 8.
What happened in 7?
Last thing I saw, he was sleeping on the ground.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. because that was just part of my week. I watched episode 8.
So you made it to the next one after that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's
Apparently.
not 9 yet, right?
No. Season finale is happening tonight, I believe.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to catch it.
Yeah.
But
mhm.
yeah, I loved it, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, so far.
Good show. I won't say any. I won't say any spoilers.
I'm sure I know what's gonna happen because, like,
I mean, it is what that part is leading to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it upsetting?
There's some context that I didn't realize until my cousin mentioned it, which I was like, oh, that makes it even. There's like a whole different layer of just like, oh god, that's awful.
Is the gross part in there where the guy tries to be gross?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you see it, we'll talk about it next week.
I told my family to be careful because they don't like things like that. So I was like,
Yeah, it's a little rough. But we'll talk about it once you see it because I really want to talk about that specific episode because it is very, very good. Obviously with the creepy parts. You watch anything else?
Yeah, I just don't remember.
Okay.
There was movies or something.
All right, so I'll let you think about that. So I guess I'll talk about me then. So I've been sick. I've been having a little bit of the flu, or I don't know what the fuck I had. So that was rough. So I was like tired most of the time because I was working at the same time. Still working. I'm taking a bit of a sabbatical from streaming, so I haven't streamed in like a couple days, almost 2 weeks now, which is weird to say because it feels like it's been longer.
That's felt like a long time, but for sure it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, it's been like only like 2 weeks, but it feels way longer for some reason. But I've been just taking time to myself, trying to recover, and also just not having so much burnout because that's one of the things I've been feeling a little bit whenever I stream is just like I just feel kind of burnt out because I've been streaming for like 5 years.
Jesus.
Yeah, 5 years because I want to say I started in like 2018, 2019. But the thing is that I've been on and off, so it's like there's kind of a reason why it's just gone as long as it has. But yeah, I just like been away from streaming. Just been away from my computer. No, that's a lie because I played some games on my computer. So what did I do during my time away in these 2 weeks? So I watched some movies. I watched The Last of Us, of course. The 2 movies that I watched were Knock at the Cabin with Dave Bautista. That new M. Night Shyamalan movie. Overall, I'm not gonna say anything like spoiler-ish. I'm just gonna say it was okay. It was okay. If you're interested in it, by all means watch it. There's a little thing it does that it kind of hits your head over with the theme of the movie, which I was like, okay, movie, I get it. You don't have to keep hitting me over the head with your themes. But overall, Dave Bautista is good. I like him. I think he's just a good actor overall. Yeah, I think he's good in it, but like everyone else's acting is a little weird. Cause I don't know, M. Night Shyamalan's like directing when it comes to people is really bizarre for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But Dave Bautista's just he's just a good actor. And then the other movie I watched, finally, one of my other anticipated movies, The Whale with Brendan Fraser.
Oh wow. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I know the entirety because they basically like everywhere you looked for about 2 weeks, they had said like everything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Do you want me to talk about The Whale or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I think the thing I could praise on this movie is the acting. Brendan Fraser is fantastic. All the supporting characters are fantastic. The thing is that I feel like a lot of people would probably think this movie is really dumb because of the circumstances that Brendan Fraser's character is living with. but I kind of understand it from a perspective of that character as well, which essentially the reason why he's so big. For the premise of the movie is that like Brendan Fraser's character, I forget his name, but I think his name is Charlie. Either way, his character is overweight, and the reason why he's overweight is because he basically has been eating himself into a depression. There's context as to why his depression is happening is because his former lover committed suicide. So uh you're kind of hit with a moment at literally the beginning of the movie where his friend is actually the sister of his former lover, and she's also a nurse, so she goes to check on him regularly. And he starts to have like a heart attack. So she's looking at him and she's like, yeah, like you only have like a couple days. Like your heart is bad, like your lungs are like congested to a degree that like you can't breathe. So you are going to die. And she's like, why don't you just go to a hospital? And that's kind of the key point as to why I'm saying that a lot of people would probably think his situation is pretty dumb, because he could just go to the hospital and just get it fixed. But his character does not want to do that. He's very stubborn about it. But it's interesting enough for his character to be stubborn about that, but yet be the most pushover kind of person in the entire movie, because the other perspective from the movie is his relationship with his daughter. So Brendan Fraser's character is gay, and he had a daughter with obviously a woman. So his relationship with his daughter, the little redheaded girl from Stranger Things, is in it. She plays his daughter. She's very she has anger towards him. Like she's like, you abandoned me and mom like 8 years ago. I didn't get to grow up with you. You only like message mom or call her to ask how I'm doing, and like you don't even come to check us around. So she just leaves school to go see him, and basically like rapid fires insults at him because she's upset. And and it's a very good movie because their performances are incredibly well done. You get the sense of anger from the girl, because Stranger Things, usually those Stranger Things kids are really good actors. And you get her side of the story where she's like pissed off at him. Because he's like, she's like, he left because he wanted to go run off with his lover, and like she basically left me with mom who like can't raise me, and she thinks that I'm a lost cause. But Brendan Fraser, his character, looks at her as like she has a lot of potential, like she's outspoken, like she can live a good life later on once he's gone. So the movie, what it does is that it's through the course of, I think, 7 days actually. It's through the course of 7 days of like basically him coming to his end, and him trying to fix all his relationships. And like I said, you get different perspectives from different people. So you get the perspective of his daughter, you get the perspective of the nurse lady looking after him, you get a perspective of a like a religious door-to-door person, like finding him, like he just essentially, this religious person just comes to his door, knocks on his door, walks in, and tries to talk to him as if God will find a way for him. But the interesting part of the religious aspect is that his boyfriend was religious, but his family is specifically his the boyfriend's father was like one of those religious people that basically shunned him for being gay, and that's why he committed suicide. It was because he got shunned by his father and his mother, but the sister wasn't there to shun him. And that's why the nurse character, pities Brendan Fraser, because it's like, you loved my brother, like you loved him more than anything in the world, and like to see you in the state that you are, like I'm trying to give you like a chance to live, but you don't want to take it. Like you're so deep in your depression that like you just refuse to hear what anyone else has to say. Yeah, it's a very good character piece, I would have to say. The other thing that I would say that a lot of people would probably be pissed off about is the ending. The ending is a very sudden choice, which for me personally, I liked it. But I think a lot of people would probably hate the ending. Yeah, overall, very good movie. Brendan Fraser is fantastic in that movie. Like he's so sympathetic and you kind of understand his character as somebody that like he kind of like he's such a pushover, but when it comes to like the current the circumstances that he's in, he just doesn't want to do anything about it because he's already accepted the fact that like he's a lost cause. And it's like it's kind of that unfortunate thing where it's like go to a hospital. Like just go to a hospital. But there's a reason why he says that he can't go to a hospital. He's essentially broke, but there's a reason why he's broke. Yeah, it's a very good movie. I really liked it. Every character in that movie is very strong, but like I said, a lot of people would think that the plot itself is very stupid and the ending is also very stupid. I can get it from that perspective. So yeah, The Whale. Go see it.
Wale.
The Wale. Oh yeah, and the other perspective, the other little thing about The Whale is what is it? It's Moby Dick. That's what it is. Because the whole thing about Moby Dick kind of plays into it because there's a thing at the beginning of the movie where when Brendan Fraser's having like his heart attack, he asks the religious guy who walked into his house to read an essay about Moby Dick to him, and it basically like relaxes him and like kind of gets rid of that whole heart attack, and that essentially comes into play later on. So yeah, The Whale. And yeah, The Last of Us, still really good. Watch that new episode. We gotta talk about it, but like once you get there, we'll talk about it.
For sure.
Yeah. Something
By our next conversation, I'll be there.
Yeah. Well, it's 3 weeks later. When we get sick, when we get sick again.
Second COVID.
Second COVID too, and whatever the fuck I had too. So the one thing I forgot to mention last week is that I actually read the first chapter of JoJo Part 9, JoJo Lands.
Oh.
Yeah, JoJo Part 9 came out. I'm very excited. It's really hyping me up, but I kind of have to keep my expectations low because I did not enjoy Part 8 of JoJo. I have a lot of problems with Part 8 of JoJo, but I'm hoping Part 9 has a cohesive idea on like what it wants to do. Essentially, for those that don't know or kind of have like an idea of JoJo, I would say for those that have an idea of JoJo, this part is basically a alternate version of Part 5, which if you don't know, it's okay. But essentially the beginning of this chapter is your main JoJo is a thief, and the story basically states from the perspective of your character, your JoJo character, that this is the story of how I became rich off the islands of Hawaii. So it takes place in Hawaii, and that basically is the building of that premise of like they're gonna go get this item that they're gonna go get rich off of, and it's probably just gonna go from there. And the other thing that I'm excited about is that it's also it takes place in parallel with Part 8. So there's a chance that Part 8 characters are gonna show up in this part as well. Because it's just wacky and goofy. And your new JoJo stand, your main JoJo's stand is November Rain. You like that song, right?
I do.
Yeah. That's his stand power. Well, that's his stand. That's the name of his stand, November Rain. And the power behind it is that it drops rain droplets that have like high gravity. So if it hits somebody, they essentially just like fall down. Um, and then you have another character whose stand ability is called Smooth Operator, which is a song by Sade. I love that song. It's a very, very good song. But their stand ability is that they're able to basically take something and rearrange it, which is interesting. There's a whole example where they're able to take like a license plate and like change the numbers and stuff like that on it, which is kind of cool. And then the wackiest one that I've seen so far, and it's only the first chapter, is this guy's stand ability called the Hustle, which he's able to pick things up by using the folds of his muscle as like a hiding thing. It's really weird. But I'm really down for it. I'm really down for JoJo Thieves. So very excited for this new part. And I just really like the design of your new JoJo. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Goes in a good direction. It does not like have the amount of blunders that part 8 had, but yeah, and then that's that. The one thing I haven't been keeping up with is Chainsaw Man. I haven't caught up with the manga just yet. I know it's going, I know it's still pretty good, but I haven't kept up with it. And yeah, other stuff that I've been doing. I haven't been really watching so many anime. I tried starting up One Piece, the anime, and I tried starting up Vinland Saga. I know Wesley talked about that for like a good bit, which is
talking about that,
yeah, which is like Viking anime. But the thing I've been doing is I've been watching anime clips of Hajime no Ippo, this boxing anime, and Hunter x Hunter, which I fucking love those series so much. Oh man, have you watched Hunter x Hunter by any chance?
No.
I fucking love that series, and it is wild for me to think that like not that many people know about it, and it's funny because it's by the same author that did Yu Yu Hakusho. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I don't think it holds up anymore, but yeah.
Yu Yu Hakusho? Yeah, it's very, very basic, but Hunter x Hunter is a thing that shines because it's kind of a subversion of a shonen plot. You know, those specific shonen mangas where it's like Dragon Ball and One Piece and Naruto. It kind of subverts that a little bit because it does, each arc does like something completely different. And that's why I kept enjoying it, was because like, oh, where is this gonna go? How wacky is this gonna be? It's essentially almost like JoJo for me, where it's like, don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm very excited to see where it does go. And the anime is very, very good. The animation is also very good because it's done by Studio Madhouse. If you haven't seen any of their works, they originally did the first season of One Punch Man. So if you've seen One Punch Man season 1, that's that animation team. So I was just watching clips of Hunter x Hunter, just being like, man, if I could go back in time and rewatch this whole thing with nothing, with like no expectations or anything like that, I would love that. But yeah, it's such a good show. But the sad thing about Hunter x Hunter is that it's coming back, but it's been on a hiatus for a really long time because the author was sick. He had a lot of like health complications. To which the new arc that they're doing it's like still in the middle of where it is. So people are just waiting for something to happen, and a lot of anime fans are waiting for this particular part to get adapted because it's one of these arcs that it's just so weird, and it's interesting. It's just a crazy show to think about because like it starts off very shonen, where it's like, okay, bright colors, people are fighting, you know, like, but people are just beating each other up essentially. And then it just kind of goes from there where it gets darker, and it's just like, oh, people are dying. And then like the 5th season happens where like expect Game of Thrones deaths happening, and it's just like I was not expecting this about some spiky headed boy and his buddy fighting off whatever the fuck it. Yeah, Hunter x Hunter is fantastic, and like I mentioned, Hajime no Ippo, same animation team as Hunter x Hunter, Madhouse Studios. If you have not seen Hajime no Ippo, I really recommend it. Even if you don't like boxing, it is still a fantastic anime. And that was my whole thing with that series as well, is that like I kind of went into that series blind and I knew nothing about boxing, and it is fantastic. It is so good. Yeah, Hajime no Ippo. Did I watch anything else? I don't think I've watched anything. Yeah, I haven't watched anything else, so I guess I can talk about video games. So I've been playing some stuff, not anything too crazy. Have you ever heard of the game The Forest?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever played The Forest?
No, I watched my friend play it.
What are your thoughts on The Forest?
I mean,
yeah.
Sorry.
I played The Forest. I've been playing a little bit of The Forest because obviously the sequel came out, and I've been kind of interested with this game for a little bit because I've just had it on my back catalog for like the longest time. So I do like those survival games where you're crafting shit. I do enjoy those.
Yeah.
The Forest just takes it to like a whole new different level of like you always got to watch your back like all the time, and the sound design in that game is horrifying. Because do you know the premise of The Forest?
Isn't it a horror? It's a horror game, right?
Basically, it's a horror survival crafting game. Basically how the game starts up is that you're on a plane with your son, and the plane goes down, and you're on like a weird island with other little islands, and you basically have to survive and look for your son because your son was taken by this weird man doused in like red paint. But you're on this island, and you basically have to fight off like cannibals and weird mutated freaks. So there's that. So yeah, the game doesn't really hold your hand either. The game's just like, we're gonna teach you some stuff, but you kind of have to take it from here. Yeah, it is fun. There were a bunch of moments where I'm like, okay, I think I found a good patch of land that I can use as like my homestead. Great. Let me get all the materials. I'm building all the stuff. As I'm building, I just look to my right, and this fucking mutated thing just comes and starts to attack me, and I'm like, fuck. Like as I'm in the middle of building my shack. Yeah, there are a lot of good moments in that game where it's just like it just catches you off guard. Which I recommend. I recommend The Forest if you're into like Subnautica, for example.
Yo, Subnautica was so good.
I really want to play Subnautica 2. Apparently they did some like some mechanical changes that were in Subnautica 2 into Subnautica 1. So like there's some life changes and things like that. So yeah, survival games. The other game I've been playing is a little bit of that Mad Max game, the one that plays similar to the Batman game. I'm running into some weird issues on PC. There's a lot of texture load-in, which I'm not sure. Apparently it's a very common thing, but for like there's a lot of moments where like I get into the vehicle that I'm supposed to get into, and then as I'm driving, the vehicle is still loading in, so it looks like I'm just driving like an invisible like an invisible car. It's a little goofy, but I mean, I've kind of missed some of those like Arkham Batman games where it's like I kind of want to play something similar. So Nothing too crazy, but I haven't gotten that far into it. What else have I played? Because of The Last of Us happening, I got my copy of The Last of Us Part 1, that remake thing for PS5. I bought a copy. Last of Us is still good.
A hard copy?
Yeah, I got myself a physical copy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So how far have you gotten?
Not that far. I've already... God, where am I right now? I'm already with Ellie right now. After the Capitol building, with Tess. And that's basically as far as I've gotten to. I haven't got up to the cabin or winter yet, so I still got a ways to go. But that was my hope, was to get up to like the winter section before the next episode. But I've been sick and working, so I've been just tired most of the time. But Last of Us is still a really good game. I'm playing it on hard mode right now, and then kind of want to get my bearings with it, and then eventually I want to go into grounded, the hardest difficulty. Yeah, and then I played a little bit of Uncharted 2 because I like Uncharted, but that's besides the point. And what else? I got to the third DLC of Neo, the first Neo game. I beat the second DLC, which I'm happy about. I'm now stuck on the third DLC. Because it is whooping my ass. Right now I'm stuck with a zombie bird chicken thing, so it's really, really kicking me in the ass. Neo's still fun. Nothing to really go off from there. Unless I actually beat it, that's when I'll give an update. But that's been also part of my 2 weeks. But the actual thing that's been taking up a shit ton of my time is, this is also part of the news, Elden Ring. I've restarted Elden Ring.
Again. What a monster.
So the reason why I had to restart was because, I think I mentioned this, is that like my character that I did on stream is like currently on New Game Plus 3. So when that DLC drops, I don't want to do that on New Game Plus 3. So I've just started to do a new character, and I've gotten pretty far, actually, with my new character, which I'm also glad, I'm going with the Mimic tier summon, because that summon is still broken as fuck, but it's still really good. And yeah, I've gotten pretty far. I beat... The only one that's still on my list that I know it's going to be a fucking headache is going to be Millennia. Millennia is going to be a fucking nightmare again, but at least I don't have people watching me, so it's okay. But I did beat Godric. I did beat I'm essentially like near the end of the game. Almost. Yeah, right now I'm at Ferrum Azula, which is that broken city world with like a bunch of like tornadoes happening. I'm there right now, story-wise, but yeah, I basically beat Praetor Rykart, General Radon, Godric, Renala, Astel. Trying to remember off the like the tip. Morgott and Moog, but only like the one part of Moog. It's stupid, but you understand what I'm saying. That like I've gotten pretty far because I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this new DLC. Yeah, Elden Ring is still such a fucking good ass game. Why is that a good game?
It's a good Souls game, is what it is. It made it really, really well.
It's so fucking good. And it's the thing is that like I'm playing Neo currently as well, and it's just like obviously these two are very different like mechanic wise, but man, Elden Ring just like, it's just everything about it, because I think it's just the shroud of mystery that it has, and like you don't know where you're gonna end up. Like there were moments where I was just like, did I forget about this? Did I not explore this location when I was streaming? Yeah, I just love those moments where I'm just like finding new things in this game. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to get myself ready for this DLC that's going to happen. That's probably not going to happen until like maybe next year. I don't think it's going to come out this year because we'll get into the story. But yeah, doing that. And yeah, the last thing that I want to say that I played was the Resident Evil 4 demo that came out. So I mentioned on Discord, my hype for this game is now cemented. I'm very excited to play this game. My only issue is I do not know what system I want to play this game on, either on PC or PS5. Which I don't know if the PC has a demo, but I have to check. I have to see. Um, it is basically the starting section of Resident Evil 4 up to when you get to the village area and the church bell goes off and all the Ganados leave. Uh man, I'm loving what they're doing with this game. I'm really loving it. The only thing that I've seen a lot of people complain about is the movement, and it's a minor nitpick because the movement feels a little sluggish. But I feel like they're probably gonna fix that during development. Or maybe a day one patch or something like that, because this game's coming out in like a couple more days. I think the 27th or the 24th. I don't remember. Uh, but man, that starting off section is great. It's like you're familiar with what you know from Resident Evil 4, but with some neat additions to make it more creepy. And the other thing that really throws me off guard was the Ganados speaking actual Spanish. Because that's the whole thing of Resident Evil 4. It's supposed to take place in like a rural part of Europe, specifically around Spain. But the language that they're speaking is like nonsensical, almost gibberish Spanish, and it's weird. But now they're like speaking actual Spanish, and it's just like it's bizarre. But it's cool. I mean, obviously, yeah, change it with the times. Got to get that Spanish in. You fight a chainsaw enemy, Dr. Salvador. That sequence was also really fucking scary because this motherfucker goes hard at you. Like, he runs after you. A lot of the enemies are just aggressive. The parry stuff is still cool. I've only gone through this demo once, but I want to go through it again. Because there are some like little neat secrets and stuff like that you can like go around. The other addition for this thing is that I'm pretty sure you've seen through the gameplay trailers is that stealth is now a thing, which is wild. And your knife also has durability like it does in the Resident Evil 2 remake. So you got to watch your resource for your knife. Oh yeah, and you got melee attacks. So melee attacks are back. They still feel good. Overall, I'm very excited for this game. I can't wait to actually play it. I just got to figure out which version I'm going to play. And yeah, that'll probably be the point where I get back into streaming because I just want to play this game because obviously Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite Resident Evil games. It was the first one I've ever played, and I love it. This remake, it's going good. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Anything else that I played? Looking around. Steam, no. Xbox, no.
Get to play the new Destiny 3 demo? No, sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that was the other thing. I played a little bit of Destiny 2. Wasn't feeling it. Excuse me. Yeah, I want to say that I think that's it from my week. Nothing else is really coming to mind. Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, Elden Ring, good. RE4 remake, good. Neo, still pretty good, but kicking my ass. Oh, that was the other thing. I played the demo for Wolong. Speaking of Neo, do you remember this Wolong? Not
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
I tried it. I didn't like it.
Yeah. So I played the demo. I'm surprised that now you have a companion character, which apparently it has made it to the final game where like each level you have a companion character. Um I don't know. Like I enjoyed it. Uh but I've been hearing that like more as the game starts to progress later on, it starts to get a little drabbish and like not as fun. So I'm gonna wait, but that is also part of the reason why I went back to Neo was because okay, I have Neo 1, which I haven't beaten the DLCs, and I have Neo 2, which I have not played at all. And I hear Neo 2 has fixed a lot of the issues with Neo 1, so I want to play Neo 2 eventually. But I want to get through Neo 1, obviously. Um, and then of course Stranger of Paradise, which that season pass is already out, but I have not touched it, let alone bought it. And I don't know whether or not I want to stream that of me playing that season pass because apparently it's like 3 different like level areas, and I don't know. But yeah, Wolong's demo, or like I would assume what the demo is possibly the final version of that game. It's okay. It's okay. I can understand why some people might not like it. And I keep hearing that like the tutorial boss is pretty hard. I don't know if it's the same one from the demo.
Yeah. I heard what you're talking about. I actually read about that where people are saying the first boss or something is the hardest, and then everything's cake after.
But is it the guy with the giant like club?
I don't know.
Okay, because like I'm not sure. Because yeah, that guy was pretty difficult in the previous demo. But yeah, it took me I want to say like 3 tries, and then I got him down. And then I got to like the second boss, and yeah, that one wasn't too bad. Yeah, Wolong it's an interesting game, but I think I'm gonna wait till I actually beat the other 2 Neos, and then I will go after that game. Oh, I just remembered. I did beat a game. Because I was talking about like games that I want to beat previously before I want to get into something else. I played that Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise.
I did see you playing that.
Yes, I beat that. I beat the entirety of that.
You like it?
Okay, so this game is more fan service than anything, specifically for people who like Fist of the North Star. I love Fist of the North Star. It's stupid. It is stupid bullshit, and I love it. But this game is really weird because it's like it's essentially the people who did Yakuza, but with the characters of Fist of the North Star. And I feel like it's one of those games where I don't want to say that if you don't know anything about Fist of the North Star, don't play it. But there is some truth to that because okay. So the plot of Fist of the North Star, I'm going to say Lost Paradise for this because Fist of the North Star is too much of a mouthful. It's essentially you're the main character, Kenshiro. You are kind of following the same plot as Fist of the North Star. Jesus, Fist of the North Star. Okay. You're basically following the same plot lines, but the only difference is that everything takes place in one city, which is called Eden. And what is it? It's like your main character is not even Kenshiro. Your main character is the city. And that's how it felt like in every Yakuza game, is that like the main character is the city itself. And the game really wants to tell you that like everything that is focused in this world is in that fucking city. You're going to stay there. Even though you can drive around out in the outskirts of the wasteland, but like it's not anything too crazy. But I don't know, like I enjoyed my time with it because of the fan service. But it's like one of those things where it's like you could have done something a little bit more. And it tries to with its combat, but even then the combat is very clunky because it's running on the engine that is not the Kiwami. No, it is the Kiwami engine, not the Dragon engine. Because the Dragon engine has more physics and stuff like that. That's why you see like the goofy shit of like Kiryu kicking somebody and they go fucking flying all over the place because of the physics. So this is running on the previous engine, and you know, you're doing Fist of the North Star fighting. You're doing like the ta 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 the punches, and then you got like the cool moves, finishers as your heat moves. Like there is that fun aspect, and then obviously me seeing the characters from the series itself, I literally started to cheer because a character that I do like from Fist of the North Star shows up, Toki, who is essentially Wasteland Jesus besides Kenshiro, shows up, and I'm like, fuck yeah, Toki's here. And yeah, you get like a bunch of other characters from Fist of the North Star, but like it's all centered in this city. So like you can't do anything too crazy with it. Like because essentially Kenshiro's whole story is that he's in the manga itself, he's going around the wasteland to find his lost love, and that's essentially what this game is doing, but it's all centered in the city with characters showing up. The story itself is really stupid. It's really anime. It's really dumb. But you just kind of have to go along with it. And that's the thing, is that like if you don't know anything about Fist of the North Star, it's like almost everybody knows martial arts, and the martial arts they know is like super deadly and can kill you at any point, but the only weakness that they have is possibly a projectile weapon, specifically a gun. Like it kind of falls apart a little bit. But overall, I kind of enjoyed the story. I would say kind of. Oh yeah, Ray is also another fucking character that I love from that series, but that's besides the point. And then the Yakuza aspect from the Yakuza games is that you still got like mini games, you still got cabaret clubs, you can still do like side missions and stuff like that. Side missions are still goofy. There's a really funny one where there's a couple funny ones. There's a couple funny side missions where like in the world of Fist of the North Star, everybody's wearing like giant shoulder pads. So there's a side mission where there's a shoulder pad serial killer, and essentially you have to find out like where this guy's gonna strike next. So you leave a trail of shoulder pads because this shoulder pad merchant came up to you and he's like, I want people to buy my shoulder pads but not be scared of this shoulder pad killer. It's stupid. And then there's this other one where these people try to talk reason to like these desert bandits. But Kenshiro's like, they're not gonna learn. You gotta punch them. But these people are trying to like have a peaceful solution to this whole situation. And Kenshiro's just like, okay, fine, we'll try it your way. But everybody is a crazy psychopath that just wants to stab and kill. It's stupid. It's really dumb. Would I say play it even if you don't know nothing about Fist of the North Star? I would say no, because there's a lot of like elements and shit like that like if you know a little bit about specifically the first part of the manga, you're gonna miss out on. That's the other thing. But if you want just dumb, goofy action that's somewhat similar to Yakuza, sure, why not? I think overall on a rating scale, I would have to give this like a 7. Yeah, 7 out of 10. Oh, the other thing that is goofy is that you go out into the wasteland and you're driving around to get like items or like to go do other side missions and stuff like that. The driving is really janky. Like it is super janky. But I didn't do that much driving, to be honest. And then there are other like mini games out there, like you do racing, obviously, because you're driving around. There's also like a baseball mini game, but essentially you have like a giant like piece of metal, and like bandits are coming at you with like their motorcycles trying to get past you. So you basically have to use that giant piece of metal as like a bat to swing them away. It's goofy shit like that. But yeah, Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise. I can't believe I beat that. There's a part of me that just can't believe I beat that. Oh, and people complain about fucking like One Piece having like crazy shaped women. Fucking Fist of the North Star has like One Piece-esque women. Like it is weird. Because like these are women with giant badonkadonks and then like incredibly like small waists. Yeah. But you got like the dudes as well that they're just huge upper body wise and then just like small-ish legs. It's so dumb. But I love Fist of the North Star. So that is what I have beaten with my week.
Actually,
yeah, because like I want to get into not Yakuza. It's not even called Yakuza anymore. Like a Dragon Ishin, but I think I'm gonna wait a little bit. So, yep. Chunch did that. Why don't we take a break? Because I gotta go do something. You cool with that?
I don't care.
Okay, let's take a break.
Okay.
We're back. All right, we're back. I have done my business. Have you done your business?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Are you ready for the news?
Yeah.
All right, news time, baby. Oh, one thing, there's a couple things that we missed, obviously, because it's been 2 weeks. Nintendo eShop is shutting down on the 27th of this month. So if you want to get something on your 3DS or Wii U, the time is kind of nowish. Ugh.
Too fast.
Yeah. All right. So what do you want to start with? I give you the choice. Lies. Go ahead.
I have people messaging me apparently. Sorry, I just tried to like read everything. Well, you just said the thing about Nintendo, so it doesn't matter. No wait, that's something different. Hitman thing, Hitman Studio.
The Hitman thing.
Mhm.
All right. Studio IO, Interactive, is going to make a online fantasy RPG. So for those that don't know, IO Interactive are the people behind Hitman and the upcoming James Bond game that I forgot about until now. But interesting to see that they're gonna try to take a hand in making a fantasy game, because I do not know if they've done anything fantasy wise besides, well, Hitman's not a fantasy game, but like any specific fantasy game. Because you got Hitman. I believe they were behind Freedom Fighters. I forget what else IO Interactive has done. Did they do the Kane and Lynch games?
Feel like that's right.
I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah. Basically, we got a statement from a let's see, from, what do I say? Their PR. Hold on. And yeah, from their PR, basically saying that they're big fans of fantasy worlds and like tabletop games and storytelling. So they're hoping with their new game that they're gonna have, basically they're gonna try to give the same experience to people who are interested in those things, those specific nerds.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is that this is going to be an Xbox exclusive. So get hype.
Oh, okay.
Get hype, gamers, for the Xbox IO Interactive fantasy game.
What's wild is, I mean,
Excuse me.
someone needs to put out a new style game, and this could be the perfect opportunity for someone with fresh eyes to put in like the work, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Let me look up IO Interactive's like whole gamography. Because I'm just curious, because obviously Hitman, Freedom Fighters, are just huge action games, but they're shooters. So it's like that's the interesting aspect of it. And like, what are they gonna do with a fantasy game? Uh,
It's not that hard to
yes, there
find
were
people that follow that, guideline.
yeah.
But
IO.
again, hopefully they would
Oh,
put some freshness in it instead of it just being a cookie cutter game.
IDOS. I guess they helped. Oh no, Kane Lynch. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm looking through most of their stuff. The one interesting part, well, I think that was IDOS. Mini Ninjas. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they were behind that. Yeah, basically all their games have just either been third-person shooters. Well, I mean, Hitman is a stealth shooter game, but still. Mini Ninjas and Kane and Lynch. So, yeah, interesting to see. I'm still honestly very curious as to like what their whole thing for the James Bond game is supposed to be. If it's just gonna be a Hitman like skin, like it's just gonna be 007, but it just plays exactly like Hitman. Which I hope they do something a little bit more creative and a little bit more different. But yeah, they're working on this. This is gonna be an online fantasy game, so I don't know if it can beat out like Final Fantasy 14, then that would be interesting. But I don't know. I mean, Final Fantasy is obviously a big name, so I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Will you play IO interactive fantasy game?
No, it's Xbox only.
What? Oh yeah, it's on Xbox.
No, it's Xbox only.
Yeah, that's right. Will you watch?
I'm not buying another console to play a game.
Oh man, I was thinking about buying an Xbox just for Halo, and then I was like, "Oh, Halo's dead. Okay."
Whoops, you can play it on PC.
Yeah, now I can play it on PC. Master Chief, Master Chief dead? I think so. Will he ever finish the fight? I don't know.
No man, what is it? 343, 908, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, 343.
Company that touches that game.
Yeah. There's a part of me that wants to watch that Halo show.
You should.
I should. Same thing with Boba Fett, but that's besides the point.
Just remember, you also watched terrible game.
I did. Because I was hoping that we would be able to talk about the whole thing, and then you were like, "Yeah, no, I did. I went in a full rant about it, and you were like, I only watched till episode 4." Lance Reddick.
Lance, God, I almost horribly did his voice.
Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick.
So yeah, IO Interactive. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Mortal Kombat. I'm pretty much just going in order, if that's what you want to do.
Sure, I guess. Sure. Let's talk about Mortal Kombat. You like Mortal Kombat?
Nope.
Okay, well,
I like the characters. I can't play the game. I'm bad at it.
I mean, as someone that likes fighting games, I appreciate Mortal Kombat, but something about NetherRealm games I don't really like that much mechanically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like when it comes to like fighting games in general, you got your anime fighters, and then you got like your 3D fighters, but then you got Mortal Kombat, and you got specifically NetherRealm games that just play a little bit more weirder. So it really depends. I mean, I'm like you. I love the characters from Mortal Kombat. I think they're iconic. I think that they're just fun. So with this news of the most unhype way of announcing a game through a investor call, Mortal Kombat 12 is happening.
Yeah, I mean, it was inevitable.
It was. A lot of people were hoping for Injustice 3, but I mean,
really?
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
Injustice 2 was good. I mean, story wise, because that's the one praise I give about NetherRealm is that like their fighting game stories are pretty good. I liked Injustice 2. I liked Mortal Kombat 9 with that whole like change the past in order to change the future.
Return the slab.
Yeah, return the slab. With that Shang Tsung. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 12 is happening. it was funny that Ed Boon came out and was like, "So what about that Injustice 3 news, huh?" And everybody was like, "Stop rubbing salt into our wounds." Uh, but Mortal Kombat 12, I'm very excited to see where it goes story-wise. I'm hoping the mechanics change because MK11 was okay. The roster was actually pretty cool, but there was something about MK11 that I couldn't really get into for some reason. I think it's just like overall with a lot of like NetherRealm games, because I tried getting into Injustice 2 a lot more, but that game is broken to fuck. Not as much as Injustice 1. Injustice 1 is super broken. Uh but yeah, here's hoping that it's good. I mean, story-wise, it should be interesting because they do you know the whole ending of Mortal Kombat 11?
I think I watched you play through it. I don't really pay attention to. It's not something that like sticks to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't remember.
I don't. What were you gonna say? I don't pay attention to what my streams. What do
No,
you?
I don't pay
You
attention to
you
like
you
things I don't care
you,
about.
you called
Like
me
Mortal
boring?
Kombat, other fighting games. Like, maybe Isaac. Yeah, I pay attention to that guy
Wow.
when he
Wow.
murks a bunch of aliens in a
Wow. So you're call.
base in space.
So what are you saying? Guilty Gear is boring, huh? You're trying to say the
No,
story
I like Guilty Gear.
of Soul Bad Guy is a boring game? uh, yeah. I mean, I'm I'm excited for where the story would go in Mortal Kombat 12, because obviously they're doing a whole world reset. Spoilers. So it will be interesting to see what new characters would pop out of this. Um, and if this might be the final Mortal Kombat, who knows? Probably not. It'll probably keep going to Mortal Kombat 20. But yeah, Injustice 3. Don't know if that's ever gonna happen. Probably, most likely, if Mortal Kombat 12 like sells well enough, it'll probably go into Injustice 3. Oh, and that was the other thing, is that I completely forgot to mention that I did play that Aftermath DLC, not on stream, but I played that Aftermath DLC and I liked it. It was basically Shang Tsung's like wacky adventures to become Time Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about Mortal Kombat. It's edgy, but it's stupid as well. But it doesn't try to take itself. It takes itself seriously. Never mind. It does take itself very seriously. But I think that's also the charm about Mortal Kombat. But yeah, if we want anything announced in the most unhypest way, do it through an investor call. Thanks, Warner Brother CEO.
Yeah, that's a super weird way for it to like drop, to be fair.
Just dropped, and everybody was like, "What did he say? What did he say?" Speaking of what did he say, Shinji Mikami says he's leaving his studio.
I'm so glad you pronounced his name, because I was looking at it and just like, I don't know.
Shinji Mikami? You don't know how to say that? Bro, he is legendary.
So as you said it and I looked at it, I understood, but before I was like, what are these symbols? I'm looking at hieroglyphs right now.
Wow. Wow. Anyways, this man's a legend. Leave him alone. I love him specifically because
I'll leave Brittany alone.
Yeah, leave Shinji alone. Get in the robot, Shinji. Sorry, that was an Evangelion thing. Anyways, Shinji Mikami, if you don't know who he is the creator of the Resident Evil series, originally the first Resident Evil, and Resident Evil 4. Obviously, that's why I care about Shinji Mikami. But this man is iconic. He's been in the industry for years. It's kind of unfortunate that he's leaving his own studio that he founded, which is kind of nuts. But it's kind of a bittersweet statement that he made. Basically, he wanted to push more younger and creative minds to the forefront, to get their ideas out. And he's just like, I'm done. I'm good to go. But still, good game to leave off of, which was Hi-Fi Rush, because I think he was the producer behind it. So yeah, Tango Gameworks, we're gonna miss you, Shinji. There's really no talks about what exactly he's planning on doing afterwards. I'm going to assume that he's probably not going to go back into gaming, like game making specifically. But yeah, if you don't know this man's whole repertoire, just look at Resident Evil 1. Yeah, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 4, Vanquish was another one that people forget about. Shadows of the Damned, but Shadows of the Damned is a weird one because that game has it has a muddy story, but yeah, fucking great, fantastic. Gonna miss your shit.
Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely amazing. You ever play Vanquish?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Wow. Wow. I can feel the hate in your heart.
I hate everything, dude.
I
There's
know.
almost nothing I like.
I know, but come on. Resident Evil 4, Vanquish, The Evil
Resident Evil 4 is
Within.
good.
The Evil Within.
I didn't play that.
Wow, hate. Yeah. But I mean, hey, Hi-Fi Rush, good game to leave off of, like I said. That's also the other thing. It's like funny enough, Ikumi Nakamura was supposed to be like his like somebody that's supposed to be not essentially his prodigy, but like someone that who's planning on like becoming like the next big thing. But like I don't know, Ikumi Nakamura's whole thing is just like very bizarre because like obviously she left Tango Gameworks, and the whole thing with Ghostwire Tokyo went in like a weird direction. And afterwards, like I don't know what she's doing now. She has a studio. I know she has a studio now in Japan. She's currently like I believe her child is like maybe like a year or two old now, so she's a mom. So I'm hoping things go well for her because she's a phenomenal artist. Because we've talked about this, like her art. You've seen her art, right? Yeah, like she's phenomenal, and like a lot of those concept works for The Evil Within were like fantastic. So hopefully she's in a good spot. But same thing with Shinji Mikami. I hope he ends up in a good spot. And good luck to Tango Gameworks. I'm very excited to see what they do next. Because obviously with the whole change of games, because they've only done Evil Within, and then Evil Within 2. Ghostwire Tokyo, and now Hi-Fi Rush. I'm very interested to see where they span off to because, it's nice seeing change a little bit. All right, speaking of change, get ready for this change up. Elden Ring's first expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree, has been announced. So that is, like I said, as part of my week as to why I'm playing more Elden Ring is because I want to get ready for this expansion, but it's not going to be for like a while. But this key art, I've been looking at a bunch of videos for like Soulsborne lore, specifically Vati Vidya. He did a whole analysis of this specific picture that's been shown for this DLC. There's a chance this might take place in the past because that's what a lot of Souls games do for their DLC. They just go back to the past. But it also might be like a dream thing. Basically, the whole idea is that this is supposed to be like possibly the past or a dream of Mikola, which is the twin of Millennia, the character that everybody had a huge problem with. Because Mikola's whole story was, if you don't know the lore behind that specific character, there's a lot of interesting things that happen around that character, but they're not really presented because of a story thing that happens in the game. It's really hard to explain, but like it would just be really interesting to see like the world of Elden Ring beforehand, during this whole I think it might take place before the shattering, the whole cataclysmic event that happened in Elden Ring, as to why it looks like the way it does. So yeah, just if you want to get hyped for Elden Ring, go play some more Elden Ring. And then the other thing that From Software is still currently working on is Armored Core. So I never played an Armored Core game. Have you?
Yeah, I played when I was younger. definitely fun when I was younger. I don't really care about robots anymore.
Wow, so much
I
hate for
know it
robots.
sounds really fucking dumb.
You're like, I hate robots.
It's just like big mechs, and it's not something I'm interested in anymore.
Mechs are cool, Ming.
They are. I agree. I think it. So what did they do? They announced a new one, right? And it looks super cool. And I don't want to put my time into it. Basically, I'll definitely want to watch it.
Wow. I kind of want to look at the Armored Core games. If I can find them, then I would like to play them. If I have to emulate them, I would have to do that. But I think Armored Core 5 was like on Xbox only, as far as I know. I think. I don't know. Because I kind of did that for the fucking Ace Combat games. I got like the PS2 games. I got like all the PS2 games. 4, 5, and 0. And then I also have 6, which is somewhere back there. Somewhere. But I have not touched those games. But I know people really like the Ace Combat games, but I know we're talking about mechs. But yeah, I would like to try an Armored Core game. Do you remember which Armored Core game you played when you were younger or no?
Oh, like 2.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there was like a sub name for it, but it was one of the beginning ones.
Okay. Yeah, because what was the other thing? Because Front Mission was also that I always got it confused for Front Mission, Armored Core. But Armored Core is more action, while Front Mission is a tactical RPG.
Right.
But Front Mission looks cool though. Front Mission looks really cool because it's like you get to customize your mechs and like, you know, go fight. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. Speaking of, you know what I'm talking about. What do you know about them delays, bruh?
I know everything about video games being delayed all the time.
Well, being the runner-up for the longest delayed game, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Dude, I can't believe it's still delayed, dude.
I can't believe it's still ongoing, according to Yves Guillemot.
Yeah.
Because it's like at this point, what is the point, actually?
What's the do you remember when this started? When it was
announced? Or when it
yeah.
was rumored?
Announced would be probably better.
2018.
When was Skull and Bones announced?
2017, 2016, I think.
Okay. I was just wondering because I know that one has been delayed so much.
Yeah, that one's been delayed, but Beyond Good and Evil 2 was like rumored for like a good while. I never finished Beyond Good and Evil 1, but I know people who played it love that game. I don't know, this game, this particular like thing has been just like bizarre because originally it was supposed to be a sequel, and then I think when they did the next cinematic trailer, it ended up becoming a prequel. So it's like one of those, it's like Red Dead Redemption 2 essentially, where it's like it's called Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's actually a prequel. But yeah, there's been no word, no gameplay on this. And now with this whole news story about the studio head leaving during labor investigations, it doesn't seem like it's in a good place, to be honest. Even the creator of Beyond Good and Evil has like, he's left, and he's not doing any video games. Like he's working on like, I guess some kind of philanthropy work. But the other weird thing is that Netflix is also in the works of doing a film for Beyond Good and Evil.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's also a weird one.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Michel Ancel left Ubisoft to focus on a career in wildlife. Interesting. But according to Yves Guillemot, he says it's going well. The development of the game is going well. He's like, people are still excited for this series because look, Netflix approved for an adaptation. It's like, okay, Yves. But according to the whole labor investigation, workers have basically made a complaint saying that they're stressed and overworked. So that's why an investigation is happening. So, Ubisoft is known for crunch. A lot of game companies are known for crunch, but Ubisoft hasn't been in the nicest light the beginning of this year and even last year, because of the whole things with the sexual assault allegations, the delays of Skull and Bones, and they still owe money to the Singaporean government, to Yves Guillemot coming out with a statement saying that devs should push harder, even though the ones in charge have the money to do that. So they haven't been in the greatest of lights for the past couple of years. I really think about it. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I just feel like the whole thing's kind of weird, you know?
Yes, I do know.
I don't know. I don't have like a lot of
say on this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think overall we could just talk about the whole thing of like it being delayed, because you got this being delayed and you got Skull and Skull and Bones being delayed as well. It's just like, and the Prince of Persia remake. You remember that?
That's not out?
No.
Oh.
Originally it was supposed to go to Studio Mumbai, Ubisoft's Mumbai studio, and then Ubisoft came out with a statement. We talked about this. Ubisoft came out with a statement saying that, like, yeah, we're gonna bring this in-house instead, because apparently shit was going bad over there. And with the amount shown of that game, a lot of people were like, it looks visually ugly, even for a remake.
I mean, to be fair, that game and that franchise itself, if they're gonna try to revive it through this, they need to make it look visually appealing.
Yeah, because there are people that love Prince of Persia, so it's like,
I personally think the first 3 games like resonated hard. Like, I love that series, and if they would bring it back to like its former glory, I'd probably love playing it again.
Yeah, I never played a Prince of Persia game. I started up 1, but then I never got that far.
It's probably nostalgia speaking, but they were really, really good.
Okay. All right. I have to give them a shot eventually.
As far as all this going on with like the delays, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't really care, honestly, for most of this stuff, but I'm sure there are people out there waiting for a lot of this, and it's like pretty sucky for them. And the company should get their shit together.
I would assume that the hype for Beyond Good and Evil 2 has just died down, because even to a point, I was just like, oh yeah, this still exists.
Somebody out there is like die hard waiting on this, bro. You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not Diablo 4, but it's fine.
Yeah. But you know who else is die hard with stuff?
Bruce Willis.
Nintendo. Oh, poor Bruce Willis. Poor Bruce. Nintendo is die hard on staying with their Nintendo Direct format because they ain't gonna be at E3 this year.
Good.
So this was originally rumored by IGN saying that Nintendo would not be at E3, but now it's full confirmed that Nintendo, Xbox, and PS3 are not going to be at E3. At PS3, excuse me, PlayStation.
Like, what the fuck?
Nintendo, Xbox, and PS3, specifically PS3. PlayStation is not going to be at E3. So, don't know. Obviously it's an electronics entertainment thing, so there's going to be other stuff at E3, but obviously the biggest thing that people would talk about at E3 are video games. So but yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's like when Nintendo started doing directs after the whole thing with the pandemic happening, I wasn't surprised at the fact that like they're going to stick to that format because it's easier for them. They don't have to spend money on venues. Same thing with the other publishers. Sony with their state of play, Xbox with their developer directs and shit like that. So it's like they could just put it out no problem rather than spending money at venues and specifically at E3 just to promote their stuff. So, is E3 dead?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, I'm sorry. It went like quiet real fast. I thought I pulled my plug.
Oh. Do you think E3 is dead?
I mean, as far as the big three go, like Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, yeah. I don't see a real reason for them anymore. I don't think it is as big as like when we were younger. I don't know about you, but I would be watching it every year to see what was the big thing, what was coming out, what the probably the three big names that they dropped for video games as far, Halo or whatever, right? And that was like my big waiting period for the year. The same thing goes with BlizzCon though. Like I used to be really hype about BlizzCon, and that died with Diablo Immortal announcement. Not specifically Diablo Immortal announcement itself, but like the World of Warcraft announcements got really lackluster. The Diablo announcements got bad. It's getting to a point where it's just like, I honestly watch more so to see like who did a cooler like cosplay. I don't really give a fuck about the games anymore.
I guess, yeah. Because that's the thing, is that like most announcements would be made at E3 when you really think about it.
Right.
So it's like, even to this point now, the current era that we're living in, everybody's doing their own thing. Jeff Keighley also has his show as well, Summer Games Fest. So like this is, I believe E3 is happening in when? June?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Summer Games Fest is happening around the same time, and it's like that show, as much shit as people give Jeff Keighley, that show is still pretty strong because of the amount of announcements he's able to have because he's in that environment. So, at this point, E3, I don't know what E3 can really show if they're going to have anything. I don't know. I remember that it was a dream of mine to go to an E3. Obviously, when, like the big three were there, to see what would be announced, what can I play, at certain kiosks and stuff like that, but just never happened. Comic-Con is like the second closest thing to that, because obviously there would be like announcements for video games, and there would be kiosks for certain games, but yeah, other than that, the hype for announcements specifically from E3 has just like gone away, because I could just be like, oh, Nintendo's having a direct on Thursday, okay. PlayStation's having a state of play talking about Resident Evil 4 remake, all right. That's it. So I don't know, good luck E3. If there's going to be anything of interest over there, cool, but as somebody that basically just cares about video games, I don't see myself getting excited for E3 at any point. And speaking of stuff that you should be excited for, well, I don't know. It really depends on you if you really like Paradox. So Paradox Interactive has partnered with Xbox. Paradox Interactive are the people behind City Skyline. Let's see. Shadowrun games, BattleTech, and Crusader Kings 3, and a bunch of other games that you probably heard of and which I cannot remember and I possibly forget. But yes, Paradox Interactive. So get hyped for some Paradox games to be on the Game Pass. Also, Paradox is also behind Bloodlines 2, Vampire the Masquerade. So, remember when that was announced?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was canceled. Forgot.
The second one?
Yeah. Bloodlines 2 got canceled.
To be fair, it looked bad.
There wasn't. I don't think there was any gameplay for it. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I think there was.
was there?
Maybe it wasn't gameplay, and it was like really rough. Like
They
this
had
is what it's gonna look like.
they had a battle royale. I remember that. That still goes on. That battle royale game. But anyways, Paradox. Speaking of a paradox, you want to take this one?
I don't have.
No, you have it.
Hold on. I don't have it open. I don't think.
Wow.
Paradox.
Speaking of a paradox, a shakeup in the world.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Do you want me to say it? Or
Dragon Ball.
no? Well, sure, we could go with Dragon Ball.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see anything that says paradox.
No, I wasn't. I was trying to segue into something with the
I
word
don't
paradox. Okay, well, you know what?
know.
You don't know what you don't know about, and what I don't know about is Forspoken.
Oh, fuck that game.
Yeah. Well, that game said fuck their own studio because Square Enix has folded Luminous Productions back into its main studio.
Yeah, that's literally one of the like weirdest like going ons with this company, Square Enix, man. Like they make a visually stunning game. They make a super cool character, and then they just shit the bed with the rest of it.
So here's the problem. Square Enix has incredibly high expectations for a lot of their games.
Yeah.
And it's to a detriment. Oh, excuse me. I gotta like blow my nose. There's nothing around. Anyways. No, they think that sales expectations are gonna be skyrocketed for whatever they put out because obviously it's Square Enix, but that's not necessarily the case. And that's why they're looking into NFT projects in order to, I guess, diversify their portfolio in order to generate more income. I'm trying to use big business words. But you know, nobody likes NFTs. Nobody gives a shit about NFTs in the video game space. It's only weird crypto bros that love that shit. And as for their studios being sold off, that was also the other big thing where, like, you know, Crystal Dynamics got sold off. Square Enix Montreal got sold off. I don't know what that's going to be changed into because it can't be Square Enix anymore. No, Eidos Montreal. Excuse me. Their Tomb Raider series got sold off. So did Deus Ex. So it's like they're trying to get more money, but the stuff that they're putting out is not working for them. And it's unfortunate because I feel bad for Luminous Productions because visually, you know, Forspoken looked really good in a lot of that early gameplay stuff, but like, you know, it wasn't any. I was interested in it at the beginning, but then once you saw more gameplay and like more story stuff, and when a lot of like ads would start to play for this game, it's just like I just became really disinterested in it to the extent of like I'll wait till this game's like $20. And you know, and you get people that actually played the game, and it's like it basically the writing has like thrown people up into a dividing point of like, okay, people who enjoy the writing, you know, say that it's funny, sometimes you can get it, you like the whole, you know, stranger in strange land kind of ordeal, but then you have people who hate the writing who are like, oh, it's trying to appeal to people that like the Marvel movies and like the Joss Whedon-esque talking points, and you know, the writing is split. But the world seemed interesting from my perspective. I thought the world was interesting because of the whole corruption thing that's going on. But the gameplay felt really, it was flashy, but it was kind of lackluster. You know, it just didn't really click with me. Even the open world stuff just felt like nothing, really. But yeah, like I said, poor Luminous Productions, because with like in a year, like they just got folded into Square Enix again. Which is basically the plan is that Luminous will probably just be working on other Square Enix games. So for those that were hoping for a sequel for this game, it's not going to happen. They're still planning on working on its DLC, but yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think. And there's also like a little comparison thing here in this Engadget article talking about how like this game was sold for $70 and it just didn't sell well. It didn't meet the expectations of Square Enix, but then you got a game like Hi-Fi Rush, which literally in the same day outsold Forspoken. You know, not in the same day as Forspoken releasing, but like the same day that game got announced, it sold like crazy. And Hi-Fi Rush, you know, the amount that I played is that like it's fun. It's a fun game. So
Hi-Fi Rush, baby.
Hi-Fi Rush, make all your games Hi-Fi Rush. But yeah, Luminous Productions only, and that's also the other thing is that Luminous made their own engine because it was the engine that they used in Final Fantasy 15 and for this game. But now no one knows whether or not they're going to use the engine ever again. And the other thing that I forgot to put down here is that the current president of Square Enix is actually being replaced. But the person he's being replaced with is somebody that has worked on blockchain technology. So get ready for some more NFT bullshit. God, Square Enix. God damn it. I just want my Final Fantasy 7 remake and my Final Fantasy 16. That's all I want.
What did I see? Recently, I want to say I saw Pedro Pascal NFTs, but like he wasn't. He might be linked to them. I don't know, but again, maybe it wasn't him. But there was something recently that was like pop culture NFTs that people were trying to peddle basically on Twitter. And I saw it and I was just like, dude, I'm so
This needs to stop.
bored of seeing it.
This needs to stop. It's almost as bad as that fucking Chadwick Boseman NFT.
Oh, that was really disappointing.
That was really bad. That was really, really bad. But yeah, I mean, NFTs in video games is also a ridiculous concept as well because Square Enix is really pushing it. Same thing with Ubisoft tried to, but they're not talking about it as much as they did. Like,
you know who Dr. Disrespect is, right?
Yes.
You know he's making an NFT video game, right?
Yes, I heard about that. Yeah. Apparently that's gotten some backlash, but yeah.
He recently posted something saying, imagine you're exfilling and you have a $200,000 gun like on your person and you're about to get your life changed. Like, you know, like, wow, you're going to become rich, basically, type of thing, right? Which is essentially feeding people into gambling, by the way.
Yep.
And somebody posted, yeah, until a 10-year-old comes around the corner with a $5 aimbot and steals it from me. And I was like, that's not wrong, man.
This is true. This whole thing with content creators, like, pushing a lot of, like, crypto shit is one of the wildest shit. Did you ever watch the CoffeeZilla stuff?
Yes. Yep.
It is just crazy to think that, like, with all these stories of basically these creators going into a Ponzi scheme, none of them have gone to jail. Like, they're still free to walk. It's the thing that, like, boggles my mind, but it's like that whole thing of just being ignorant to the whole thing, or quote unquote being ignorant to the whole thing, even though you know what you're doing. It's just the thing that I hate about this whole fucking shit. Just like I hate this whole situation of like people who I don't know why they listen to these content creators, but like they just do, and they think that they think that the person they have this parasocial relationship with is good at heart, even though, like, you know, Logan Paul is, you know, specifically him, has been like the most clout chasing piece of shit in like in the entire existence of the world. Same as his brother. So it's like, When am I gonna get my NFT project?
Dude, man, we can get it going. Let's go.
Let's get it going. Let's get Chunch coin. Let's get Dirty Controller coin. There we go. But besides that, yeah, Square Enix is in a. I would say they're kind of in a rut. The only thing that's gonna save them, I think, at this point, is possibly Final Fantasy 16. Possibly. If that doesn't sell well, then I have no idea what the fuck their expectations are, because everybody's talking about that game.
You know what could save them, but won't because they don't own it?
What, bro?
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball? What are you talking about?
I'm glad you asked, Joe.
What?
Dragging these balls across. Anyways,
Oh.
a new Budokai Tenkaichi begins, is what this says on the Twitter thing. Wario64 posted that Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi is announced. Is it the fourth one? Is it not? I don't know. It just says a new Budokai Tenkaichi is coming through.
I mean, it's crazy to think that's been since the PS2 era, right?
I think they dropped it on the PS3. I think like one of them came out.
There was that HD collection that had Budokai 1 and I think Budokai 3. But those were just those were Budokai, not Budokai Tenkaichi.
Yeah, I highly doubt these are gonna have the same button layout as the old ones.
All I know is that they're gonna, if they keep the same fucking shit they did from the old Budokai games, it's gonna break fucking controllers. Cause you remember that shit with the analog stick that you had to like fucking spin it?
Yeah.
When you're doing power beams at each other?
If you remember Budokai though, like base Budokai, they didn't have that.
No. Budokai,
that was, I think, mashing circle, baby.
Yeah, no, the original Budokai games were like just they were like pseudo 2D fighting games. Then Budokai Tenkaichi did the whole thing of like being third person from the shoulder aspect.
Yeah.
But like once you get to Budokai 3, the roster just got big because it's just like, here's character from that one episode or that one chapter of Dragon Ball who's a background character, and now he has his own moveset. But then, you know, you kind of get to that point of like, most of these characters are just cut and paste. So that's why the roster was so big, was because a lot of it were just copies of one another. But looking at this this little teaser thing and showing the graphical difference, they're using that fucking it looks like the same animation style as that Kakarot game. Cause it looks good, cause Kakarot looks good. Unless you have any difference otherwise.
On Kakarot?
Yeah. Visually, visually Kakarot looks really good. So that's what that gameplay, that little intro, that little teaser looks like. Is that like, it looks like stuff that you saw in Kakarot. Yeah, it's not confirmed whether or not this is a remake of Budokai 1. This might be Budokai 4 most likely. But yeah, this was at an announcement for some Dragon Ball stuff. Still waiting on that rollback for Dragon Ball FighterZ. I'm still waiting on that.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, rollback. Apparently it's supposed to be happening sometime this year. But they haven't truly announced it because they still say it's in development, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, it says supposed to be in development. But yeah, Budokai Tenkaichi. Get hyped, I think.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, I'll be hyped and once it comes out and everything. Oh, this has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. But I remembered the other day, Skate 3 is coming out.
Skate
4.
Oh, it was Skate 3?
I think they called it just Skate. It's probably going to be called Skate Online.
Is this still going to be that free-to-play stuff that they were talking about?
Dude, I don't care. As long as I can play a skateboarding game, I don't give a fuck. I'll play them. I don't care.
I'm just gonna play Skate 3 and fucking do my Christ Air with Jesus while Even Flow plays.
It's fine. I'm gonna listen to Even Flow. on my Apple Music
Even
roll, I do my
flow.
Christ Air and skate online. Bitch.
I've been watching so many fucking videos of that. Of just like a Jesus create a character doing a Christ air while Even Flow is playing. It's the best. It's the best. But you know what's not the best?
Yes.
What, my guy?
Warner Brothers getting delayed on the Suicide Squad Guild.
Yep. Was swale. Yeah, so Suicide Squad has been delayed.
What aside?
Yep. So it's being delayed to later this year. Due to bad reception during that state of play. Because people are not happy with those menus. I don't know. It's weird. We live in a weird timeline of like everything's got to be a fucking like service game, and I think the reason why people were really pissed on it was because of how obviously the menus looked like, and it was almost resonating with Marvel's Avengers. So that's why that whole shit is happening. But I think what kind of made people a little bit more harsh on it is because it's supposed to be part of the Arkham universe as well. So people were like, you're really going to do this to the Arkham universe? Make it like a weird live service game with guns and different attributes to your guns?
I mean, I'm not surprised by how many every company wants to do this shit now.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, that was the thing, is that like even seeing that gameplay for Suicide Squad, I kind of just don't care. There's a part of me that does care because of Kevin Conroy as his last part as Batman, but other than that, like I just kind of don't care about Suicide Squad. And on top of that, it being fucking like multiplayer because I hate people. Can't stand people. I just kind of don't care. So yeah, Suicide Squad being delayed. Speaking of shit that might be delayed or could be delayed, Call of Duty. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this Call of Duty. What are your thoughts on this news report from IGN talking about how Sony claims that their Call of Duty offer from Xbox is harmful for competition? This has been the case the entire time, but
I was gonna say, dude, like
it's
this is
irreparably. God damn it! I can't say the fucking word. Irreparably. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Yeah. This whole thing has been a bizarre case of events because of the whole merger shit. The thing is that the merger still has not gone through. And it's wild to think that Xbox is already making deals for these like rights to have Call of Duty. It's really weird. You understand what I'm saying, right?
what?
That Xbox is already making deals on Call of Duty even though they technically don't own Activision right now because the merger still hasn't gone through.
I'm sure they're just banking on it definitely happening.
Yeah, I mean, but you still got the whole thing with, I believe, with Europe that still is going on. But there was a statement coming out from, from someone over at Activision saying that basically saying that during a meeting with Xbox and Sony, Jim Ryan basically was like, I just want to block your merger. That's like the only thing I care about. I forget who the person who made that statement was. Her name is like, I think it's Lulu something? Lulu Chang? I could be wrong. Please tell me you're wrong. Hold on. Let me find this out. Yes, Lulu Chang. Lulu Cheng Miservi. She is the EVP Corporate Affairs and CCO at Activision Blizzard. And yeah, she basically came out with a statement saying that Jesus, came out with a statement saying that Jim Ryan was like, "Yeah, I just want to block your merger Xbox because I do not want you guys to have Call of Duty." I don't know, man. This whole thing with Call of Duty is just like I've already spoken my mind about this. I think it's incredibly stupid at the fact that just one particular game has this much of a stranglehold on like the whole market. But that it is technically true though. Like that's the thing that annoys me the most is that like it is technically true. Call of Duty is one of the biggest selling franchises in the world.
Oh yeah.
But Sony doesn't want to play ball with Xbox, so they're at a point where I don't think there's going to be another Call of Duty on PlayStation. The home of Call of Duty will forever be Xbox. So,
Good.
Yeah, I guess. Can't wait for Vanguard 2. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be real, dude. I don't think they're just gonna pull it off of PlayStation.
So this was the thing, is that like according to this article, the reason why Sony does not want to play ball is because they basically came up with their own theories saying that Microsoft is going to deliberately like sabotage them by making PlayStation versions bad, buggy, and at any point they can take back their rights with their servers and stuff like that. So it's just this whole like what if situation, or like this whole weird conspiracy theory that like Xbox is going to stab Sony in the neck.
All I would have to say to exactly all the things they just would say about that, right? Exactly what you just said
Wow.
is
Big yawn.
all the stuff that the Activision has already put out for Call of Duty is always buggy and broken, and their servers are bad, and like all this stuff is already happening.
Look at Warzone. Yeah,
this is gonna keep happening, bro. Like,
yeah,
Sony is being basically a big baby. Again, even though they're buying it, I doubt before all this they probably didn't need to say anything. Xbox or Microsoft is probably still going to sell it because it makes money on PlayStation, you know?
Yeah.
But of course, like they're gonna, new IPs that Activision makes, they're probably gonna want to keep on Xbox. It's the end goal is still to get more people on Xbox, but at the same time, like if you're investing in a company, you're not just gonna go and cut 30% of the revenue, right? Why would you? You're gonna see if you can add to that revenue instead, right?
Try to work something out, yeah.
Right. So, the thing that they're upset about is they're gonna lose their year of like maps that everyone gets on PlayStation before Xbox.
Yeah,
and instead what's gonna happen is Xbox is gonna get that year instead of PlayStation. That's the only thing that's gonna change,
Yeah.
And if Xbox does decide to take it, fucking I think I said this to you fucking a year ago when this shit started happening. Can you guys just start making a new game, like a new shooter for PlayStation, please? Because I would way rather play that than Call of Duty.
Yeah, make something interesting, make something innovative. But that's the thing, is that like we're in a constant cycle of people knowing the similar thing that they're used to and feeling some kind of comfort about it, so they refuse any single change about it. So that's why
it's definitely a very big like stuck in a rut type thing. You don't want to change because you're just so fucking used to getting your drip fed your dumb shit every year.
And that's the thing, is that like I know people love Call of Duty. I know people have their specific versions that they like, but it's like, if that's the thing I've always seen about Call of Duty, is that if they try to do anything different with it, people straight up just don't like it. And that's the majority of the player base, is people that like, oh, Call of Duty is now awful because it now has laser guns in it.
I'm guilty of this. No, for real. And I'm not even ashamed of this shit, dude.
Yeah.
I don't like wall running. I don't like high jumping. I want to be boots on the ground. And, I wait for my Call of Duty to come out.
And it's funny because
exactly what you just said.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm the exact opposite. I love wall running. I love doing the double jump shit. I love it going wacky and crazy because it's like, it's different. But I can kind of understand it from a perspective like, this is supposed to be Call of Duty. you know, its start was a on the grounds World War II shooter that's supposed to be somewhat realistic, and now it's just going off into space and shooting space drones and shit. I don't know. But the thing that I am curious about is Call of Duty actually running on the Switch. So since the days of Black Ops on the Wii U, we haven't seen a Call of Duty game on Nintendo in a while. But yeah, I mean, if Sony doesn't want to play ball, the only person they can blame is truly themselves, because it's like, you know, you're at a point where you're the ones that are deciding not to do this. And that's the thing, it's a 10-year contract. I get it. Like, it's, you know, you're gonna have to renew it. There could be possible changes later, you know, later in the contract that they're, you know, would want something more out of Sony. But yeah, we're at a point where we just don't know. We just don't know. All these what ifs, we'll never know. And yeah, for this merger to happen, gotta wait and see if it even happens.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah. Oh yeah, and the other big thing was that making Call of Duty part of Game Pass. Sony does not want to do that with putting Call of Duty on their subscription service. So that's also a thing that, at a standpoint, looks kind of shitty, because it's like, you know, if you pay for Game Pass, you're able to play Call of Duty no problem. But then you have with PlayStation, where their subscription service is like, you don't really get a Game Pass kind of service like that. So who looks more appealing, you know? So, oh well. Good luck with that bullet wound in your foot, Sony.
Big bags.
Yeah. All right, so that is it for the news. There's probably some stuff that I probably missed out on, but try to get most of that stuff across, the major stuff that did happen. And yeah, until then, that has been it for this episode. We'll be back in a month, so
A year.
All right, fair enough. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.